So we are back for another episode of Rap. This time we take on 2 months because we are feeling adventurous. So stay tuned. Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back, and I don't know why. But
Don't ask a
we are
friend.
here for Wrapped. We are here for Wrapped. And though that was a terrible joke, he is back and he is remaking his song, and we may talk about it. But I was gonna drop a little thing there for Aaron, who was not prepared for. Either way, today we take on April and May, and boy is it chocked full of things. So first off, you know who I am, K.Styles. I have my guest co-host Aaron, Pulver Finance, In-Crowd Reviews. A bunch of other things, but like those are things that are easily said. You know,
The
I
main
feel like I
ones.
repeat it. Yeah. So first, how are you doing? Before we dive into this crazy thing.
Doing well, man. Drinking water, minding my business. Doing well. No complaints on my
Indeed.
part. How about yourself?
Cannot complain. I really, we had so much to talk about that it was just like even just coming up with the list, it was like, okay, how many things do we tick off? Like
I know.
it's busy time.
Yeah.
So
2024 has been a hell of a year so far.
far, and I feel like we're only halfway through. So
Yeah.
so where do we start? I guess we could start in April.
Let's do it.
Try. I'm gonna start with the thing that I want to talk about the least. So in April,
way.
uh, Shannon Sharpe has been on a roll. He's become the Wendy Williams of podcasts, and I'm happy for what he's doing for himself, because I mean, to leave his own doing his own thing, but he has brought us a lot of sassy content that I'm just like, I don't necessarily want to consume all of it. Either way, he had Amanda Seales on there, and Amanda Seales is somebody that I do not understand, because on paper she like literally has everything together, but it feels like she gets in her own way all the time. Um, and even saying this brings a bunch of caution. Not to say that she's gonna hear this and care, but I feel like she is always in a place just being ultra like, I don't know. I'm trying to avoid the stereotypes that people attribute to her, but like problematic. Problematic. It's just like it's problematic, and so like her being on there was just like exactly what you got from all the other people, with the exception of Cat. I think Cat Williams probably was his best episode, because as even though it was a little bit sassy, it was more fascinating to me, I guess. But what are your thoughts on that? Whatever you call it, because I'm pretty sure you didn't watch the whole thing.
No.
Nor did I.
Personally, I find Amanda Seales, no offense, but to me, I find her to be insufferable. I've never watched an individual, well, maybe I have, but she's one of those individuals that I've seen just get in their own way too frequently, and she continues to do it. And she is in my opinion, the poster child for lacking accountability. I've never seen someone place so much blame in so many different areas without in any moment at all saying to themselves, you know what? Maybe in this situation, I could have done this differently. Maybe I was wrong here. Maybe I need to interface with this person and offer an apology and really try to understand what's going on. Maybe I need to sit down with a therapist and flesh out some of the things that I've dealt with as personal traumas. You don't hear any of that from her. All you hear is how someone else wronged her, how the industry wronged her, how she is blackballed, I mean, it's it's tough. So listening to her for however long she was on Club Shay Shay, I did not. I just saw the clips. I knew all I needed to know about her years and years ago. So she's not
Yeah.
someone I was going to sit down and listen to. She is a professional victim. So I definitely didn't have time to put into that type of content.
Yeah, it and it's just unfortunate, I think, because she's very smart, but I feel like if she just had a sense like it shows you the difference between like book the book sense. I'll go very West Indian, common sense and like intelligence, and I think that's why like I don't know. I don't want to talk about her anymore. I feel like just it's such an it's such it requires such mental gymnastics because there's so she is I think she's a master of tying into the things that people say about other stereotypes, and so by even addressing it sometimes you feel like you have to be very cautious to not fall into the thing. Like by saying something about her automatically it's you're going against black women, and I just it's very it's a lot. So I was like it's such a this is why I wanted to start with it first so we could get it out the way.
Yeah,
So
I get it. Some topics just aren't worth deep diving into. It just is what it is at the risk of being cliche.
yeah, 100%. So for I'm trying to because we're doing April and trying to keep just touching a couple of these things. Going to another one. Doja Cat tells parents not to let kids come to her show, which is very interesting and it's very on brand for Doja, but it was such a wild it's such a wild thing because I'm like that's probably a big part of your your fan base. So
Well, I mean, if you paid attention to Doja over the past couple of years, she kind of seems to not care about her fan base. So, like you said, this is on brand for her. This is not something that is surprising to anyone. Wasn't surprising to me. So, and then I kind of understand where she's coming from in terms of the content of her music. It's not really the most children friendly music. So why would you have your little 10-year-old, 7-year-old there? She's not Britney Spears, even though current Britney Spears is she's a wild girl, but yeah, she's not that pop music. This isn't NSYNC. This isn't Backstreet Boys. This isn't any of that. So why would you have the little teeny bopper there? This is not for them.
yeah, I agree with that. There's also a really short one. All right, to financial news, I guess. I know this was kind of a big deal in April. The $95 billion in aid that went to, I guess it was Ukraine and Israel, and like I
Yeah.
guess it was just foreign aid package. Uh, what were your thoughts? I would jump into that really quickly.
Just really quickly, I guess my thoughts are just the same as it was in the past. Our country needs to focus on the issues that are happening here in the United States and not be so willing to be involved in everyone else's socio political, financial, war based issues. There's a lot of people that could use that money here. There are tons of neighborhoods in the United States that were destroyed by natural disasters that are still in a state of disrepair. We have the student loan crisis where we're currently in one of the highest inflation economic times. We could use that cash here. It does not need to be continuously outsourced to other nations to fund wars. And that's the worst part of it is the fact that we're literally funding murder. So I'm not a fan of it, and personally I wish it would stop, but we're in a position where we have to pay taxes, and then the people that are at the podium, they're the ones that are making the decisions as to what to do with our money, and we have no say so.
Yeah, yeah, it's a hard one, especially since it I can't see many people that granted my circle's not super large, right? So I'm not out here campaigning and finding information for everybody. But I don't find many people that are happy about this, right? There's not that many people that are like, yeah, we definitely need to protect our interests abroad to the point where we're sending, you know, whatever aid. Because I mean, one of the big arguments was that they're not sending money, they're sending whatever. And I'm like, but why are we, right? Like, and I think that's the really biggest question. Like, what are we trying to achieve here? And if that was maybe a little clearer, then it doesn't feel as wild to send that much money, but it's just weird to hear people say we can't forgive people's student loans, but we could send the amount of money that it would take to pay off some of that to other countries to protect interests that of stuff that we don't
Yeah,
necessarily that we don't see. So
exactly. And to say that we're not sending cash is kind of arguing semantics. If I were to say I'm donating $1,000 towards the K.Stylez Foundation, but I don't give K.Stylez $1,000, I'm donating it like food or medicine I'm still taking money
the
from
money's being
somewhere
spent.
and donating
Mm-hmm.
it. So it doesn't really matter what form it shows up in. It's still money that could go towards things that aren't war based.
Mm-hmm.
Wars need money, and if there's no money, guess what? The war ends. You keep
Yep.
fueling it. It's like putting more and more wood on the fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like we've spoken about this multiple times, so we can move on to in the same vein. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink suggested that the age requirement is too low at 65, and that people need to keep working. I don't know if he gave an age. Did he? I don't remember if he gave an age,
I don't
but
know if he gave an age either. I just know that he said that 65 was not the age that people should be looking to retire. And I mean, can you say he's completely wrong with the advancement of modern medicine and things like that? Now, I'm not saying that people should devote their entire lives to working. Some people, that's what they want to do, whether it be working for a company or working for themselves. Some people literally just want to work. They have no interest
yeah,
in sitting around doing nothing, traveling on vacations and watching Netflix. Like, that's not what some people actually find value in the work that they produce. So
yeah,
I can understand that. But I think the way that he was speaking on it is more so of the fact that if you want to continue to have a financially fruitful future, retiring at 65 might not be in the cards. And you know what? Quite frankly, with the current
he's
economic standing,
not
so
wrong.
retiring at 65 is not an option for a lot of people. I know
Yeah,
someone who is going to be 60 this year. There's no way he's going to be able to retire in 5 years. It's just not possible.
and well, I could understood where he came from, like from just a factual standpoint, because realistically, a lot of the stuff that we were able to do before, or our parents or our parents were able to do, and not really possible. You know, like all the stuff that provisions and stuff that were being saved in our like paychecks from the government supposed to run out. Like, there's a lot of things that are an issue. One of the things I heard is like they also, as far as BlackRock, I guess they're trying to find a way to manage more uh like retirement funds and stuff like that, which is
Mm.
his motivation for that. Which I was like,
Of course.
that is the part about it that I don't like. Like, if you're saying like realistically, you know, from just where that we're going, it's not really feasible to think that we're gonna be able to retire and actually not work, right? And I completely get that, because like just everything is up, right? You can't.
That's a
You're the
fact.
people who are paying, 100,000 for a house is it's virtually impossible everywhere,
Can't
right?
even do that with a
Um,
one-bedroom apartment.
so as a result, prices are up and everything. So yes, even any money you had budgeted from 30s up to 65, it probably is not going to go as far. But at the same time, you're not telling me you want me to work so you can make more money off of my retirement.
Come
Like, that
on.
part
Of
is kind of messed up.
course.
That part's
Of
kind of messed up
course.
to me. It's messed up. But
It is messed up, but it is the real world, and all these people care about is lining the pockets of their investors, so or their higher ups in the companies and things like that.
yeah,
So yeah, of course. I mean, the longer you continue to work, the more money continues to be put into retirement funds, which means they get to charge more fees, which means that their worth goes up as well. And quite frankly, the entire the social security system is kind of like in a place
yeah,
where if people don't continue to work, that might also fail. And who's going to benefit from that? It's definitely going to be retirement funds such as whatever they offer, because if people are under the awareness that, hey, you know what, I might not be able to have Social Security. Let me go ahead and, instead of putting 10% of my earnings into a retirement
Hmm.
fund, let's bump that up to 20%. Companies like BlackRock, that fuels them, man.
Yeah. So I get it, and at the same time, I don't like it. So
Well, yeah, there's nothing to like about
that's
that. It's dirty work.
such such is life. There's a couple other things for April, but like it was April, so I think we could move on to May, which was chock full of other stuff too. Which is like I don't even know where to start. I'm trying to end on a more interesting note, but I guess we'll start with the dude formerly known as Puff Daddy. I don't. That's
Formerly known
just.
as
Yeah, yeah. He's just known as felon. Well, not say he's not felon
the
yet, but
diddler.
he needs to go to jail. He needs to go to jail.
Yeah.
I never. It's horrible to wish another black man jail time, but like, it, I don't know. Anyway, it just so much things about this is just so it's so frustrating to me to think about. Especially from the fact that I mean, me personally, growing up, while listening to hip hop and like Diddy is somebody that I saw that as a musician I would look up to, and it's disappointing now at this point to see everything behind the curtain, right? And I know that at the point when we came into hip hop being more of a pop culture thing, we weren't getting a lot of the backstories of what's going on. So it was a very curated image of people that we had. But the thing that bothers me the most about all of this is that everything that we've seen that he's done literally seems to have been done under false pretenses. So, like going into the you remember he was giving back the rights of the publishing for everything.
Right.
I was watching a documentary by TMZ on him, and they were talking about the fact that in order to get your publishing, you essentially had to sign, for all intents and purposes, a gag order where you could not say anything negative about Diddy. So, like, you were getting back your deflated publishing that was yours to begin with, but then you couldn't say anything negative about him. And so I'm like, that completely taints the whole giving back thing, which I think we talked about on Wrapped yeah, like it was
Yes,
last
we
year.
did.
We're like, oh, that was like a good thing. I mean, even though everybody, we all felt that it was kind of late to give it back, but it's terrible that now was used as a thing to keep people quiet about him, which is just like it's not a good thing at all. Like it's not. You can't even say, okay, well, it was just it was terribly timed, but like to use that as an opportunity to make people shut up about you means you knew that this was coming. And I think I said it at one point when the stuff popped up with him about the the lawsuit. It was like he was trying to protect his image by making this like, oh, he's such a good guy that there's no way he could be doing all the things that are coming out. But
Right.
I don't know. It's very upsetting. And watching the video, it really pissed me off. And then his apology video just really pissed me off. All of that stuff is just like, come on, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never I've never been in favor of Diddy, and I believe when we did that episode where we were talking about him giving back their publishing, I don't think that I had a positive look on it. I think
No.
I was standing in the position of they're depleted. Like giving me
Yeah.
something that had value 20 years ago, giving it to me today, I'm earning what, 12 cents in public, like what? And yeah, it probably was the fact. I mean, when the whole Cassidy thing came out, it was understood that she attempted to approach this privately, and
Hmm.
he told her and her team to pound sand, like pretty much like, yeah, go
Yeah.
F yourselves, not happening. So he probably knew, like you said, that this was in the works. And in order to buy public favor, it's like, hey, look at what I'm doing. I'm giving back 30-year-old publishing rights to people who have been suffering without their money. You've been living off
Yeah.
of it. and leveraging that money to build other brands like Sean John and liquor lines that you've invested into and things like that. Um, there's really nothing positive I could say about this guy. I personally could not watch the video in full where he was physically abusing Cassie. I'm just not. I don't have it in me to watch that because I become angry. And what am I going to be able to do
Yeah,
with that anger other than just be
yeah,
angry? So I didn't watch it. I did not watch his apology because who cares? This is a man that after the allegations started to come out one after one, he went and put up an
vehemently
entire
denied.
post saying that he's innocent of all of this and his innocence will be proven and all this nonsense. And then after video proof comes out, he's then apologizing. It really,
It's too late.
clearly, he is the diabolical individual that I always kind of thought that he was. And yeah, his day is coming. I don't know what's coming down the line, but his day is definitely coming. I didn't even listen to the song, but I heard his son put out a song, and Diddy or Diddler or whatever the hell they're calling him these days. He was on there talking greasy at the beginning of the track. Like, I don't know. This guy, he's a sick man. He needs to seek help.
The thing that's crazy about this is the like had he come out about had he come out and said that this was a thing and he's like, yeah, uh like if the apology video had come out before the video and it would have been a different approach, would it make us feel less upset about it? No. But
Right.
it would have felt like I'm not. Oh, like who of his lawyers are terrible. His lawyers should not have had him do that. This is like Jonathan Majors level of just like just failure in my mind. And I don't know. It to me as a musician, it's disappointing to watch the people that for all intents and purposes you were fans of just go through a lot of these things and you're like, damn, like first Russell Simmons, now Diddy is like, like who's next? Like I don't even like is anybody who's been excuse me, has anybody who's been successful actually not evil, right? Like I
Hmm.
can is that
Seems like it
that's a
goes
bigger
hand in hand,
conversation.
right?
It seemed like it's a requirement, right? And it's
I mean,
just
there's good people out there. I mean, we haven't heard anything in his long career. We haven't heard anything of oh man, why is his name escaping me? Training Day,
oh, Denzel.
Denzel Washington. He's been around for a very long time. He's very successful. He's a married man. He has children. I've never heard anything about him in the media.
Yeah.
Also, uh, Grant Hill, if I'm not mistaken, he's another one. Never heard anything. There's people out there. The problem is that the media does not highlight positivity. The media
Yeah.
highlights negativity because that's what brings people. That's what gets the views. So you're less likely to come across individuals who are on the straight and narrow more so than you would individuals who are doing reckless stuff. So there's examples out there. It's just that no one cares. No one cares if you're a good person doing the right thing. People like messiness.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I think as from the music angle, it's tough for me because I really feel like these are all people that I would have put in the hero category, right? Like I mean, there've been stuff that come out about Diddy that's just like, okay, cool. I mean, if mostly it was in my mind was the stuff about him essentially having his freak offs as they call it, and I was like, that has nothing to do with the art, but like to know that you were over here like blowing people's cars up and stuff like that. It's just upsetting. I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what kind of villain? Why are you trying to be a villain? Like, I don't understand. I don't know, man. I don't
As
know.
messed up as that is, I think that's kind of cool though. you,
That he's a villain.
yo, you mess with me,
I'll blow up your
shit's gonna
car.
start exploding around here. You better watch who you're talking to.
The wild thing about that is like I think of like Cassie's like significant other now, and if I find out all of that stuff, and I was with her, bro. We gonna have to. I'm gonna have some problems. We're gonna have to figure out a way.
After the
Like,
fact,
yeah, man. Yeah, it's like
I could understand it, but I don't think, because listen, they have 2 kids now. You gonna go crash out? You got a wife and kids over stuff that happened 10 years
I
ago?
well, the problem was that it sounded like he was still like intimidating her, right? Like he would, comment under her post.
Yes,
He was
this is true.
that at that point. I gotta do something, bro. Like it's like I
But
remember.
this is the question, right? How do you do something? Because unless you
I don't
have a
know.
way of getting
I don't know.
close to him, what are you doing? But I
I
get
gotta
what you're
do something,
saying,
bro.
though.
It
If
just
stuff
it
happened 10 years ago, okay, you know
I
what?
can't
I'm
do
not going
anything
to
about
crash
that.
out
But
over
yeah,
that. But if you continue to attempt to intimidate and almost like threaten the person that I'm currently with, my wife and the mother of my children, yeah, you and I
nah, son,
definitely have a
something.
problem. I'm pulling up. I'm slapping
That and
yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. Like I remember, Dame Dash gets a lot of crap, but like I remember when part of Dame Dash issue with Jay-Z was that he was doing songs with R. Kelly, and R. Kelly, and Aaliyah were like, that whole he kind of was messed up individual, and I remember him saying something like, "Yo, how could you knowingly work with this dude, especially knowing what happened to Aaliyah?" And it's the same mentality. It's like I get it. Like, I'm not a Superman. I'm not gonna out here gonna, like, oh, I'm gonna wait for you out there with the blick. Like, I'm not. I don't know, but like at the same time, I feel like I gotta do something. Like I can't. You can't antagonize my person and I do nothing. Like
No, I
I don't
agree
know.
with that. I agree with that.
And
I do.
honestly, yeah.
Hmm?
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I do believe that you have, as that person's partner, you have to at least attempt to do something, whether it be a cease and desist. It doesn't have to be something where you physically get involved, but yeah.
And for the record, I was about to say I don't know that Cassie's person did not do anything because I'm pretty sure going down this route, he had to be supportive of her doing this because you know what it's going to bring to your life. I mean, the case, before we got the video, everybody was talking. Or like, well, not everybody, but a lot of people were talking that she was just a gold digger. She all this stuff, blah blah blah, and you have to be willing to deal with that, which is another reason why they're like, why did she wait till now? But like, you have to be in a place that you're willing to deal with the negative before you're even vindicated. Because like, honestly, until people saw the video, a lot of people didn't believe because we're still bought into the lore of the diddler. But
Right, but can
I
you
don't know.
blame people though? Because I will say I definitely am one of those people who left the possibility open that this could not be true. And the reason is because I've seen things happen on both sides. I've seen situations in which the men truly did commit these horrific acts, like we did with what Diddy, what we're discussing here, and I've seen situations in which, literally, in my own personal life, know people who have had certain accusations placed on them, completely lost everything, lost their job, stuff is in the news, just completely looking like a certain type of person out publicly, and then that person turns around and then tells the truth, like, hey, this stuff that I said never happened. Now what? Now this individual, his reputation is ruined, he's unemployable, he's lost the job that he had, probably undateable because women that he would have an opportunity with in the future are listening to these things that came out. It's disgusting. So I think it's tough to ask people to just outright believe everything someone says about another person just because you said that it happened. It's tough to just, that's a lot to ask of anyone. So to place blame on people who didn't just outright believe things, I think that could be a little unfair. The one thing that I would say is that silence is golden. Maybe it's best that if you don't necessarily believe all of it, you don't go online and start uploading your own personal input on something that you don't know anything about.
Yeah, agreed. I definitely it it it's just like it feels like murky waters, man, and
Hmm.
it is what it is. But slightly connected to this, and you mentioned this earlier. King Combs released a song, and by all means, I think it was very stupid to say that because I definitely feel like the releasing of the video was as a result of some of the stuff that he said in that. That's just me, conspiracy theorist. But essentially, he made a song talking about they raided the wrong house, blah 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 blah. Like they should check the house next door. Sounded great on record, but as a result, 50 Cent, who gets, I would say a negative rap because they're like, oh, he's been going at Diddy, but like I would say 50 Cent and you have kept the same energy and have not messed with Diddy at all. Like literally, like 50 Cent, and the reasoning that there's a lot of things that 50 Cent said that I was like, yeah, he's been on this for a long time, right? Like, but apparently he said something, and then the Philly's biggest loser jumped in, Meek Mill, and decided that he wanted to have an opinion. Is he not the biggest loser in Philly? Like, I think he's the biggest. He is.
He's
he lost to
collecting
Drake.
He's
like
definitely collecting them.
It's not a good look, but
bro, if you talk the way
jumped.
you talk on records, and then 6ix9ine pulls up on you, and you don't slap the colors off this dude, yeah, that's a problem.
It's disappointing. But either way, he had a lot of smoke for 50 Cent, and I don't understand why he felt like he needed to be a part of that, because it's like, I feel like he kind of felt left out because at that time, this was in the midst of the Drake and Kendrick beef, and I feel like he just wanted his name out there for something, and I'm like, this isn't it. Just sit it out. This is not for you, man. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. But
it's kind of funny that you say that, because he just released a song called 5 a.m. in Philly. So now I have to go listen to it with that state of mind. Like, go re-listen to the lyrics in that state of mind. So
yeah, I'm telling you, this Kendrick and Drake beef is what we expected from Meek, and Meek did not deliver.
Yes, I would agree during that time, because it's still hard to think about Meek in that manner. But if I rewind to, how old was that beef? About 10 years ago, maybe
10, something like that.
12. It's a really old one. So yeah, the mindset that we had of him, definitely we held him at a way higher standard, because we're talking Dream Chasers era Meek Mill, and now I just don't think he has the same level of respect anymore, especially after, I think Drake, that is truly someone's career who was changed by a rap beef. No one looked at him the same after that.
Nope. Not at all.
So yeah, maybe he did want to be involved or mentioned or a part of some conversation, but he chose the wrong person to go talk to.
He literally. But the thing about it is, I know what it was though. Him and 50 Cent, like there was a issue with them on stage a while back, and
really
Meek had, I don't remember exactly who it is. I want to say it was Taxstone or somebody with him that 50 doesn't like, and then 50 was about to step to him, and Meek stood up. So I feel like there's a oh well, I can I can go toe to toe with this guy, and I'm like, yeah, but like the stuff even what he said, he's like, yo, you got no swag. How you got your girl? Like what are you doing? Like
that's what Meek said.
What yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm abbreviating, but he pretty much was like, yo, I don't understand how your girl you going at this dude, but like I don't understand how you got your girl. Like you have no swag, and I'm just like, bro, what are you how old are you?
I was about to say, like man, arguing like a 17-year-old.
Bro, like stop it.
Clearly he's got that swag if he was able to pull her.
Or he has the necessary things, which is a lot of times his money.
The resources, yes, definitely.
Yeah, so I just I don't understand. Anyway, but it's I don't think there's much else to talk about on that. On the slightly talk about the Drake and Kendrick thing. Your boy Academics also is under the spotlight. Yeah, he's not my boy.
Okay.
Sorry, I just had to distance myself from that connection there. Yeah, apparently he's under the spotlight for his I don't say debauchery. The stuff that he's getting accused of doesn't surprise me at all. It just
Oh yeah, why is
it
that?
plays with his brand. I feel like it plays with his brand.
It
He's like you know what? He's like a dude who I feel like he's popping because of the internet. So now he has the resources to be you know wanted. I guess I don't know. I try not to talk about academics because I'm pretty sure at any point anybody watch this is gonna look just like hate. But I don't like him. I've never
mm,
liked him, and
mm,
I feel like I never said that on a thing. I just don't like. I don't like the way he goes about approaching talking about certain things, especially like the whole Chicago thing. Like it felt very culture vulture-ish in a way that I don't like Vlad. Um, and I get it. Like you built your whole thing. I don't want to tear down another person, but you built your whole persona on that. And but at the same time, I don't like real people lived some of the stuff that you were kind of making fun about, and I don't like it. I've never liked it. I mean, I know
yeah, I get that.
he put a lot of people on and it was beneficial for him. But I've never
No,
been
I
a fan.
agree with you. I definitely there's a degree of distastefulness that is associated with the fact that real people were involved, real lives were lost. This was really happening, and it was almost like satire what he was doing, and yeah, playing with people like that is just that definitely is not cool. But like you said, there are positive elements here. I like his work ethic. He's an extremely hard worker, and I like how dedicated he is to reporting what's going on in the culture. So I respect that aspect of it. But I agree, making fun of the whole, as he used to call it, the war in Chirac is that's distasteful.
Yeah, but now he's facing rape and defamation charges. So it's it's
Yeah,
it's one of those things where we'll see how it plays out. I feel like
we will.
the lawsuits have lawyers are making a lot of money these days, man. I mean,
Lawyers
not
have
that they
always
always
been
weren't, but
making a lot of money, man.
but
That's the one
but
thing in all of these scenarios is just like the culture is losing because we're taking everything we've built and we're losing it to just all these dirty ways. But I think I'm officially gonna take the stand of not really giving an opinion on any cases involving quote unquote sexual abuse or anything like that because you have to kind of wait to see how these things play out. I don't know that I truly believe that someone like a DJ Academics himself would put his brand and his freedom. He always talks about his mom and how many mouths he feeds and stuff like that to put all of that on the line for what? And this is a man with a lot of money. I mean, these are dudes that can just pay for this stuff. They're- these these weird desires that some of these people have, there's an industry for that. There are people that you can
this
pay and
yeah
get your rocks off. So I don't know. I'll have to just wait to see how this plays out in court. Um, I am a big believer of innocent until proven guilty. I'll just
yeah.
leave it at that.
No, yeah, I like as much as I'm not a fan of this. Like I take the same stance. I like a fan of his. I take the same stance where it's like I guess time will tell, and at that point we'll have a different conversation about it. But for right now,
Right.
I'm not. I would never sit here and take joy in someone going through this because some of this stuff can literally
And as a
change
commenter, you
people's
can't
lives.
win.
Yeah,
As a commenter, you can't win. Let's just say you were to always side with the accuser, the person who was supposedly abused, and it turns out that nothing actually happened. That puts you in a certain light. Let's say you take the stance of the accused, and it turns out that they did these heinous things. Again, that does not put you in a positive light. So it's probably best when certain situations come up to just take the neutral just stance on the whole thing. Let's see how it plays out.
yeah. I agree. So this going. I said I want to end it on a high note. So I want to. I guess the next thing we're gonna jump into is number 34.
Our boy, or is that my
Oh
boy too?
man, I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to claim that, but like President Trump, who or former President Trump, or
Former.
potentially next President Trump, who literally has just been losing cases like left and right. Well, I guess he lost this one case, and it's just weird that like the hush money thing is a thing that like kind of really got him like got him like he got caught because of this, and like this could have been avoided slightly differently, but there's like one critical misstep. Like you could have just handled this differently, and this wouldn't even it wouldn't even be a thing. But what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that whole case and what the
You
future
know
looks
what?
like?
Not too many thoughts on it. It would just be interesting to see if this man would actually be in the office as a felon. Like that would be a first. Our person in the highest chair is a felon. That's something, man. It would also be interesting to see how the people that are stark and unwavering Trump supporters, how they talk their way out of this. It would be interesting to see if there's a presidential debate between him and Biden, how those debates go, because he's like Meek. He's collecting L's. He collected one in Georgia. He collected one in New York. I have to say the only thing is I personally somewhat support some of his views in terms of just cryptocurrencies. And if I were to go out and vote for a president, it would be him. But I can't, in good conscience, go vote for him. But I do support what he's been saying in terms of crypto, and I love the fact that because of his unwavering support, or now I should say newly found support, because he wasn't always a big supporter. I love the fact that it's causing the Biden administration to be very uncomfortable in their seats and start to do things that they otherwise would not have done if it wasn't for Trump. So, me personally, I have a little bit of a selfish dog in this fight.
Yeah, the thing that and we're gonna divulge into politics, but there's really no way around it. The thing about it that's hard with this is that I don't think that, and maybe this is a false idea, just like the Meek Mill, and the 6ix9ine thing, where you assume that because you're about this, that you're really about it. Whereas, like with I don't know, is Trump really a supporter of crypto, or does he realize that there is a untapped group of people that are kind of disgruntled with the current administration handling of some of the stuff, and by getting those people to support him, he has a better chance of winning, right? And I guess does that matter? You know,
I mean, it's
politics is politics.
exactly. You just said it right there. He's a politician. A politician is going to leverage any community, as you can see, as what they've done in the black community for many, many years. They're going to leverage any community that will help them win office as long as it's opposing the views of their counterparts on the other side. So I'm not going to outright say that he's only doing it because they are against it, because he's released, this is while he was not president, he released two different NFT projects that did very well. So clearly,
That's your part.
he's not anti crypto, because how could you be anti crypto and releasing
Your
NFT
part is
projects,
critical.
which NFT exists on the blockchain and crypto is the blockchain? So I can't say it's 100% politically motivated. It seemed like whoever is whoever is on his team is probably steering him in the direction of, hey, this is what this technology is capable of. This is the kind of money that this technology is generating. These are the kind of jobs. This is what this industry is bringing to us. It's something very new. Maybe you should look into it. And maybe that is what kind of started to change his mindset. And then seeing that the opposing side is very anti crypto, what better way than to gain a community while you're running for president than to lean into it? So I think that's probably what's going on there. It's a little bit politically motivated, and it's a little bit also just the fact that he already seemed to have been opening his eyes to what is possible with blockchain technology.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's we're in a very interesting position because I did actually see a lot of people say it's like I'm a felon. I can't vote for I can't vote for president, but the president can be a felon. It's just wild. It's just
I didn't
like
even know
who
that. I didn't know people who were felons couldn't vote. They take away their
I
right to vote. I didn't know
yeah.
that.
I mean, there was a big thing. There was a big thing that I think Ti was pushing at one point, where it was like, if you're essentially rehabilitated, right? Like you've served your time and you're now out. Like there should be some part of like reconsidering that part because
There
it
needs
is
reform for that,
you've
of
served
course.
you served your time. So I don't know. It's very interesting. One of the things you did mention earlier, you said something about how his supporters going to um, essentially talk this or walk this one down. And I feel like I saw something from Grant Cardone who said, "I'll never do business in New York again," and it's just like it was such a farce. And I'm like, but I'm confused. And it's like we're operating in different realities. Did he pay money to hush and hush money? I don't know. They say it's very salacious, but did he use this money to shut this person up to sway his ability to win? Because if that had come out, would people have voted for him? Would some of the people who are super conservative, would they have supported him if that? So you actually tampered with information in order to make this a thing, and it's just hard for me to understand how you can argue that this was a witch hunt or this was fake. It's like, did you do it or not?
Right. I agree. If you
And
did
if
it
you can,
and you're guilty, there's no conversation here.
what are we talking about? Yeah,
Exactly.
understand? What are we talking about? So
Grant Cardone is a scammer anyway, so
I just,
thank you
yeah,
for not doing
he
business in New York.
I just it was just so odd to watch, man. It was very odd to watch, but you
Yeah.
know, it is what it is. So on that note, which is slightly connected, but I'm pretty sure you'd have a lot to talk about the rise of all the meme stocks and crypto as a whole after everything that's happening in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Give us
Yeah.
like the rundown. What's happened? Why you think it's happened? And like, what's the future? Like, what do you see? What do you see
Well,
happening?
it happened because I don't know if you were aware of or paid attention to what happened back when the pandemic took place and the whole GameStop AMC debacle took place with the streamer slash, I guess he was also on Wall Street Bets, Roaring Kitty, if I'm not mistaken, is his tag, who was basically showing that there was a lot of shorts against GameStop, and people started to buy the stock, which basically caused those shorters to get squeezed out of their positions and basically causing the stock to go exponentially higher. That individual tweeted again, and when he tweeted, I guess the community as a whole kind of expected what took place all those years ago to maybe have a resurgence, and people started to buy the stock again, and the stock started surging again, and it happened with GameStop and AMC. It also affected meme stocks in the crypto market. Pepe and a bunch of other cryptos skyrocketed during that period. Roaring Kitty continued to tweet, and of course, the market went up, but now it seems like things have cooled down a bit. As for what's going to happen with the future of this stuff, it's hard to say. It's really hard to predict anything when it comes to financial markets, especially when it's financial markets that are being swayed because of just communities coming together to screw the big guys. But yeah, that's what happened, and I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with the future. The crypto market is still in its, I guess, its phase where you can still accumulate before it starts to skyrocket into its current bull market. And meme stocks, well, not stocks, but meme tokens appear to be leading the race. So that's kind of what happened there, and that's kind of what kicked it all off. There's money to be made, or there was money to be made if you had invested in these things and they skyrocketed and you sold, then
Yeah.
you made quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit of money. I personally, while I hold meme crypto tokens, I don't hold any meme stocks, and I haven't sold anything. Anything that gained value, I just left it there. I'm holding for the long term to see what happens maybe a year from now.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see this like happen again. It feels like deja vu.
Yeah, it
And
felt good.
it is, yeah. For and I'm sure a lot of people who sat there and watch like stuff go super down got an opportunity to like get their money
Exactly.
out or
People who
probably
didn't
hold.
sell.
Yeah, yeah. So the question is, do you think those people held or did they think they they called it quits in this
I'm
round?
sure some people sold, but there are some people who, like myself, if they see something go down and it continues to go down, sometimes we continue to buy more because we think, hey, eventually it's going to go up. And then we buy more
Yeah,
and then it goes down and then it goes down. And then it's like, man, screw this. But I'm not selling. And then one day, someone like a roaring kitty tweets, and then that same thing that you kept buying over the course of a couple of years that kept going down now skyrockets to the moon. And you're like, yes, here's my opportunity. You sell your whole position and you walk away nice and happy. Um,
yeah,
I'm sure there are some people who did that. And I'm sure that there's some people who got scared and sold at a discount and lost all their investments. I'm not a fan of
yeah.
that. I hold either I'm getting into this thing and I'm riding it until the ship sinks, or I am getting into this thing and selling when I hit a certain price point. I'm not the type to, oh my God, it went down. Let me sell before I lose even more money.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. The one, I guess my one question for you is like, why do you think that the roaring kitty decided to come out of, because he was like in hibernation, bro. Like
Yeah, he
nobody
was
really heard much
missing.
from him.
Um,
Um,
Maybe
well,
because, it's one of those things where he made a lot of money. If I'm not mistaken, they said he made somewhere upwards of like $50 million. So he's super
damn.
rich. And
Mm,
when you're that rich, one of the things that you have to think about, because I know a lot of people don't think about things like this. People tend to just think about what they're going to do when they get that money. But when you're
mm-hmm.
that rich and then you have that level of infamy sitting on your back, you're not safe. That's one of the things that a lot of people don't think about is how unsafe you are when you become really wealthy. You can't just go to the store and buy food like a regular Joe. You got people looking for you. People want to take what you have. So
Yeah.
maybe he was in hiding, or maybe he went quiet because he needed to kind of just become okay with the newfound wealth that he has. Maybe he needed to relocate. Maybe he needed to build some sort of security around him. And I guess when trading is in your blood, that's in your genes, at some point you're going to go back to it, and I felt maybe he feels like this was his opportunity to just come back out, or maybe something is happening that he's aware of and he's just not ready to speak on, but he just wanted to say, "Hey, I'm still here. Keep an eye on me because something's coming down the line." Personally, I think it probably has to do more with the fact that he became that wealthy and that famous, and he did not seem like the type of person that wanted that. So the fact that it did happen, I think to a degree he probably wanted to let all of the hype cool off a little bit.
No, that makes sense. It definitely makes sense. Well, I think that we've come to the the end of that conversation. I don't know if there really is much else to
Wrap up.
add to that. But
Well,
I mean, this is 2 months. We did 2 months, and we did it in record time. Uh, if you definitely made it through all of this, I always say I appreciate it because, there's a lot of stuff. We talked about a lot of different things here. We always appreciate, people who actually, gave us their opinion, and, we love it. We love to hear it. So
That's a fact.
if you have anything we want to talk about, feel free to join our Discord. We have multiple different conversations going at once. Any final words?
No, just make sure to check us out on the next wrap for the month of, who knows how crazy the month will be, but for the month of June.
Definitely. So on that note, peace.